Hello and welcome to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, I will be covering several days here of severe weather through this week into this weekend, and here even previewing some of the severe weather as we head into early next week, as well as a very active end of April into early May here is looking likely across the contiguous United States. And I will also here kind of look at the longer range here all the way through the middle of May as well for you guys to see here if we got any warm-ups here in store as well. So do bear with me through the video here as I will here kind of relay that news to you here later on in this video. So looking here at the kind of the longer range picture of all of the severe weather here going all the way through day 8, you can see some severe weather here is possible today across here portions of the southern plains and toward the Texas region. Same areas kind of here as we head into tomorrow on our Thursday, and then here a bigger chance for severe weather as we head into Friday across the central and southern plains here. That is kind of a little bit of a stronger surface low that will start to develop, and then even that will continue to kind of carry over into our Saturday as well. And then here we got multiple other chances for severe weather here into Sunday, into Texas, and then here into the southern plains and Oklahoma, North Texas here as well as we head into our Monday the following week. So let's look at today. We do have a slight risk of severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center has posted a slight risk from portions of southwestern Kansas down through the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles here, the far northern Texas panhandle, with a marginal risk extending from eastern New Mexico down into West Texas and on up here into west central portions of Kansas. Not looking at much of a tornado risk as we head into today, but we do have that 15% wind risk across the here southwestern Kansas and the Texas and Oklahoma panhandle areas, and just a little bit of some marginally here strong wind gusts here with some of these storms as we head into portions of eastern New Mexico down through West Texas as well. Even kind of a smaller wind risk here with some pop-up storms into western portions there of Wyoming, getting into eastern Idaho as well. And then here the hail risk here is more of a 5% risk from portions of southwestern Kansas down through eastern New Mexico and northwest Texas as well. We do have temperatures today warming up well into the 70s, even some lower 80s around here southwestern portions there of Kansas into the Oklahoma panhandle, southeastern portions there of Colorado. And then here we do have some storm development here as we head into later this afternoon potentially, as we do have a lot of warm, moist air being pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico. Some modest dew points here, some boundary layer moisture reaching the low to potentially mid-50s, so kind of right at that threshold for that severe weather is possible as we head into late this afternoon. We do have some CAPE values, not very intense, but we do have some modest to moderate CAPE values, around 1,000 to potentially as high as about 1,500 here from southwestern portions there of Kansas down through Oklahoma and Texas panhandle and getting into eastern portions there of New Mexico as well and through West Texas here as we head into late this afternoon. Now looking at the here wind shear kind of bulk shear values here in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, you can see not very strong values here being shown, especially with southward extent as you get down here into eastern New Mexico and to West Texas here, but some values overlapping some of that instability up into southwestern Kansas, getting into Oklahoma, Texas panhandle on the order of about 30 to 40 knots. So that'll be enough to get those updrafts to maintain themselves here if we can get those storms to develop later on this afternoon. And you can see on the composite reflectivity, we got some isolated supercell development here across southwestern portions of Kansas, getting into southeastern Colorado and northeastern New Mexico, and this will continue to kind of develop and grow upscale. Could have some stronger and more intense kind of cell cores into portions there of southwestern Kansas and getting down here into the northwest Texas panhandle as well. That'll be going around the dinner time hour. Then storms will start to weaken as they head here after sunset, as some of that here boundary layer to start to stabilize here as we head into the evening hours. And then these storms will kind of be more of kind of heavier rain producers. Still some small hail as we head into the evening hours, but like I said, the overall severe weather risk will start to wane by then here after sunset. And then as we head into tomorrow, another couple of marginal risk areas here across west central portions there of Nebraska, closer to that surface here kind of impulse around the area here with the energy moving in. And then here you got some level 1 marginal risk from central and western Kansas down through western Oklahoma and northwest Texas as well. This does include Wichita, Kansas, getting down toward El Reno and maybe Woodard, Kansas, and then getting down here towards the Wichita Falls area here as well with time. Not looking at much of the tornado threat here as we head into tomorrow, just kind of a general wind and hail risk here in the marginal risk areas here as we head into our Thursday. And that is kind of more of a conditional risk. I'll show you that here in just a moment. We do have instability growing here across the central and southern plains from portions of central and western Kansas down through the eastern Texas Panhandle, down through central and western Texas, kind of on the order of 2,000 to locally 3,000 joules per kilogram. So some moderate to strong instability here being shown on the latest NAM model. And we do have a mixed layer cap. We do have a cap at the surface and up above here in the mixed layer as well. So that may be kind of the limiting factor for storm coverage tomorrow, or really any storm development here, as we do have a pretty strong cap, especially across west central Oklahoma, getting down into central and western Texas, kind of here negative 300 to negative 400 values. And that is a pretty strong cap. So here, if we can't have any storms develop, then that severe weather here will kind of bust as we head into tomorrow afternoon, even though it's just kind of a level 1 of 5. So let's look at this on the composite reflectivity here. This is late tomorrow afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock, showing some signs of maybe some low-topped convection or thunderstorm activity across the Texas Panhandle, trying to develop with a little speck here across the reflectivity. But then as we head into late in the afternoon toward the dinner time hour, this model here, the NAM model, is showing a couple of thunderstorms firing up across west central Texas. And if this is correct and does verify, we could have some very large hail producers for a time, which may even be borderline slight risk type of hail here as we head into West Texas, which we could have hail potentially up to about $half size here at the before the storms start to weaken as they push to the east and really kind of overtake that here, kind of move into that cap here type of environment, and the storms will really dissipate as we head into early evening. So there may be a brief period of some impressive storm activity here for maybe a couple hour window as we head into Thursday afternoon, probably between about 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock here before the storms start to fall apart as they head toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area and up toward the Wichita Falls area and Oklahoma City area here as well. Then looking longer range, this is going into Friday morning. We got another here shortwave trough coming in off the northwestern portions here of the country. We got another southern stream shortwave here. Like I said, the previous days moving in here across the southern plains, where those two overlap, we're going to have a kind of a surface low that will start to develop in the lee side of the Rockies, and that will kind of here move a lot of energy across the middle of the country. We got a lot of warm, moist air that'll be sending up here from the Gulf of Mexico, but then we got a surface low pressure system here as we head into Saturday evening, kind of centered around east central Nebraska with a here trailing cold front and also dry line across the central and southern plains, which will kind of be the focal point for that lift here that you need for those strong updrafts here for a severe weather event on Friday. And here, this is what I'm talking about. Late on in the afternoon on Friday, we got temperatures moving up into the 70s, well into the 80s, even some low to mid 90s, all the way down into western Oklahoma, down through west Texas, where a lot of the dry soil is. A lot of efficient daytime heating here with temperatures well into the 80s and 90s. Just to the east of there, however, we got a lot of dry air across the western portions here of this, of Texas and Kansas and Oklahoma panhandle areas. But then just to the east of there, very sharp dry line here. We got dew points well into the 60s here, all the way up here into southeastern Nebraska, far southern Iowa, much of Missouri, Kansas, and getting down to east central Oklahoma and into Texas as well. We do have around the Oklahoma City metro area. Think about this. We got dew points potentially up into the mid 60s or so. You go about an hour or two west and dew points will be in the 20s. So a very sharp dry line is forecast across the central and southern plains, and that will be the here focal point for that lift for those strong updrafts here in the afternoon. And that lift will be translated here to some pretty decent instability values here from southern Nebraska down through Kansas, Oklahoma, into North Texas, kind of on the order of about 2,000 to locally 3,000 joules per kilogram. So some moderate to strong instability here as we head into Friday afternoon and evening. here, but we do have another cap on the atmosphere, especially as we head into eastern Kansas, all the way down here into portions of Oklahoma and Texas, and then we got a stronger cap here up around that warm front here as we head into eastern portions of Nebraska down through southwestern Iowa. We got to watch that triple point area as well, and I'm especially concerned around here portions of southeastern Nebraska into northeastern Kansas, where that enhanced risk zone is for the tornado development as we head into Friday afternoon and evening. We do got some shear coming in with some westerlies in the jet stream here coming in, overlapping some of this here instability and a little bit of this cap, and start to erode that cap, especially with here's northward extent as we head into the afternoon on Friday. We do have some supercell composite values showing up, especially across east central Kansas, down through Oklahoma, western Missouri, into portions of southeastern Nebraska. So if we get that cap to break, we'll definitely have a lot of upward motion here. We could have some supercellular storms with that shear coming in. We got a lot of rotation in the atmosphere, so we could have a few tornadoes as we head into our Friday. The Storm Prediction Center has upgraded portions of southeastern Nebraska into east central portions there of Kansas into an level 3 enhanced risk for severe weather, with a slight risk from southeastern and eastern Nebraska getting over to western portions there of Missouri, down through east central portions there of Oklahoma, and into far north Texas. This does include the Kansas City metro area, getting up toward Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, and then kind of nosing its way down toward Tulsa and Oklahoma City, Moore, Oklahoma, Lawton, Oklahoma, those type of areas as well. The Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex kind of on that line between that marginal and just general thunderstorm zone. We'll see if that does expand here in later outlooks here as we get a little bit closer. We do have a significant hatched probability zone here of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center from southeastern portions there of Nebraska, getting down especially into that 15% or 30% hatch risk here, rather, into portions of southeastern Nebraska, getting into east central Kansas, and then kind of tailing its way down here towards the Texas and Oklahoma areas as well. And that does include probably 2-inch or larger hail, maybe wind gusts that could be up to 75 miles per hour, and even a few tornadoes as well. Cannot even rule out maybe a longer track tornado here if we can get a more discrete supercell to develop later in the day. So looking at this late Friday afternoon, we got some storm activity up here into portions of western and northwestern portions there of Nebraska. Got some storms and showers ongoing here in the Mississippi and Missouri Valley to the east. Kind of quiet across the middle of the country. That'll change as we head into late afternoon, early evening. We got some supercells developing across portions of southern and southeastern Nebraska. That'll continue to kind of move to the east, but with that cap, the NAM model still not getting too excited about any of the storm activity tailing its way back building down into Oklahoma and Texas right now, but that could change here in the later runs, so we'll have to monitor that. But some supercells across Kansas and Nebraska and northeastern portions there of Oklahoma, getting into western portions of Missouri here is possible. And like I said, all modes of severe weather are possible, if not likely, in those areas here, with tornadoes, damaging winds, and very large hail as we head into our Friday. Then as we head into Saturday morning, we got the low pressure system centered around northeastern Nebraska. That'll kind of push up into southwestern Minnesota as we head into late Saturday afternoon and the evening hours. And the Storm Prediction Center has already gone ahead on the day 4 outlook and here put out a 15% or slight risk of severe weather from south central Illinois down through southeastern Missouri into the foothills there, and then getting into here the Tennessee Valley as well, into western Kentucky, southwestern portions there of Indiana, and then getting into northeastern portions as well of Arkansas and northwest Tennessee. This does include the Paducah area, getting up toward Carbondale, Illinois. St. Louis is in play, and then here as you get down farther here toward maybe Cape Girardeau as well as we head into our Saturday. And I do expect that to probably expand a little bit further in future outlooks here to the south and to the north, potentially a little bit farther up into north central Illinois, as we have a lot of daytime heating all the way up into southern Wisconsin with temperatures in the 60s and close to 70 on Saturday afternoon. Couple that with dew points in the upper 50s to mid 60s all the way down into Texas and all the way north here into portions of northeastern Iowa, with that low pressure system developing and continuing to push up into southwestern Minnesota late on Saturday. We do have a lot of instability across the center of the country here, from the Ohio Valley down through the Tennessee Valley and into the southern and central plains portions in the mid-south and even into the Missouri Valley regions as well. We got instability all the way up into southern portions of Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, all the way down here into portions of the foothills here of Missouri, Arkansas, and especially higher instability as we get into eastern and southern portions there of Texas and into Louisiana as we head into our Saturday afternoon. Kind of on the order of 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram here with northward extent. You get farther to the south into Louisiana, Arkansas, portions of Mississippi, and into Texas up to around 2,500, maybe locally 3,000 joules per kilogram on our Saturday. Now, kind of where these overlap, I'm a little more concerned about Illinois and portions of Missouri, getting over into northern Arkansas here with time, as we do have that shear kind of rounding the base of that here, that low pressure system, and kind of taking on a little bit of that negative tilt. And where that here just to the east of there and kind of overlapping that, we'll have that shear, we'll have that instability, and so we'll have some supercell composite values all the way up into north central Illinois, western portions of Indiana, getting down all the way into southeastern Missouri, portions of Texas, and into Arkansas here as well, where those rotating storms are. And I did take a look at the significant tornado parameter. Still, I mean, it's several days out, but we are starting to see some values here on the NAM model, all the way up into eastern and northeastern Iowa, getting down here into portions of western and northwest Illinois, kind of getting down into southeastern Missouri and northwestern portions there of Arkansas as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that tornado risk zone and see if it shifts here, if in later outlooks here farther north or south here on our Saturday. So let's kind of look at this with the composite reflectivity. We do have some storms kind of moving in here ongoing Saturday morning. That could affect a little bit of that destabilization farther to the north here, but we do kind of have some arcing bands of some showers and storms that will kind of be pushing through the upper Midwest and here to the south, here southward extent of that, where that kind of breaks up a little more into north central and then all the way down into southern Illinois, maybe getting down into southeastern Missouri and Arkansas. We could have here some stronger and severe convection or thunderstorm activity, and we'll continue to have those arcing bands of storms as we head all the way through Saturday afternoon and into the evening hours. So we'll see here how that all evolves with time. But going through the next 120 hours or so, this goes all the way here through Monday, May 2nd here in the morning hours. We do have a lot more rainfall here in store for the mid-south, all the way up here into the upper Midwest, into the northern plains. Some more snowfall can be expected across the western Dakotas. But in general, here around the Missouri Valley, getting up into the upper Mississippi and mid-Mississippi Valley regions and down to the southern plains, could have an additional 1 to 3 inches of rainfall or more, especially if you can get under some heavier thunderstorms as we head through the first couple of days of May. That is why the Weather Prediction Center here has gone ahead on their Day 2 excessive rainfall outlook for Thursday and put out a marginal 5 to 10% risk of flash flooding across much of Missouri, southern Iowa, eastern portions of Kansas, and the northeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas for the potential of flash flooding if storms do develop on Thursday, and then a larger zone of flash flooding with a slight risk here as we head up into southern North Dakota, into central portions of South Dakota, for flash flooding of about 10 to 20%. Then a marginal risk zone from the Dakotas all the way down through Iowa, Missouri, into western and southern Illinois, eastern Nebraska as we head into our Friday as well, with some of that storm activity kind of moving east, kind of turning into more of a heavy rain threat here as the severe threat wanes into Friday evening across those areas. Now looking longer range, the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here from the Climate Prediction Center, the Climate Prediction Center does show above normal here temperatures across the southern and southeastern part of the U.S. here, getting back into the southern plains as well. We do have a lot more troughing continuing across the northwest here and into the northern plains and upper Midwest. That will continue all the way through Friday, May 6th. So some ongoing here La Nina type conditions will continue all the way through here the first week or so of May. And it does favor a likely above normal here precipitation across much of the here Missouri Valley into the Ohio Valley and the upper Midwest, the upper Mississippi Valley, all the way back into the Pacific Northwest as well, and into the Northeast here, and in here slightly above normal here precipitation down into the southern plains around Texas, getting down to the southeast as well. A little bit of drier than normal conditions expected here across the Four Corners region into the desert southwest, with that here another ridge starting to reestablish as we head into that time frame as well. Then as we go here on the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, you can see slightly cooler than normal across the Pacific Northwest, normal conditions around the desert southwest and the Intermountain West, and then some cooler than normal conditions with those troughing here continuing across the upper Great Lakes region into the upper Midwest, and continuing to see that ridge here kind of dampen or flatten out here and broaden into portions of the southern plains, getting in here to the Gulf Coast regions and into Florida here as well, with above normal here temperatures expected there. And then continuing all the way through Tuesday, May 10th, here all the way through almost the middle of May, we still have above normal precipitation expected across much of the country, from the eastern 2/3 back into portions of the Intermountain West, into the northern plains, Pacific Northwest, an exception to drier than normal here across the desert here, southwest in the Four Corners region, maybe getting into West Texas here on that here time frame, as well as a ridge will start to develop here going in toward the middle of May. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I did promise you that I'd show you here all the way through the middle of May. We got that trough continuing to push off to the east towards around the 9th, 10th, 11th period. And models for the last several days have been kind of consistent in showing a very large dome of high pressure and a large here ridge starting to develop across here the western 2/3 of the country, going toward the 10th, 11th time frame, and that'll continue to expand all the way up into southern Canada as we head into the 11th time frame. A lot of warmer temperatures across the western 2/3 of the country, and that'll continue to push to the east here, kind of broaden a little bit as it does. But we do have temperatures that could be 10, 20, 25 degrees above the norm for this time of year, all the way up into southern portions of Canada, into Ontario, getting in here to northern portions of the U.S. as well, where it's been cooler lately toward the middle of May, and that will just continue here as we head through the rest of May. So I do think spring is on the way here, so do hang in there if you are living in the northern U.S. It is coming here for those areas. So do be sure to like my video here. I do appreciate you guys watching. Give me a thumbs up. Leave any of your comments and questions below. I'll be able to answer those. And do remember to subscribe to my channel here. I'm trying to get over 100 subscribers here in the next couple of weeks, so do please help me out by subscribing, and I will get you caught up on all of the latest weather events from coast to coast here in the next several weeks. So thank you for watching, everybody, and have a great Wednesday out there.